Mm-mm-mm. We back at it. Like a crack addict. Why? Because it's therapeutic. And we are a crack addict to this shit. Love knowledge, love speaking, love learning. There was a point in time when I didn't use my brain too much. Then one day it just struck to me like, use your brain, motherfucker. Right? But we're going to talk about this, man. Because there's levels to life. And it's a marathon, not a race. Some people are going to tell you, you work for somebody. You're not building your own dream. Is that true? Then you got some people who, what's going on, bro? Then you got some people who say they're so-called bosses, right? Which, not knocking. I'm not here to knock anything. But you have some people who say, I'm boss, I'm boss, I'm boss, right? Let's just take, for example, truck drivers, right? Owner-operators. They swear if they're owner-operator, they're working for themselves and no one else, right? They're not building no one else's dream, right? Somebody making money off that freight, dog. Yeah, technically you are a boss because you're responsible for your shit, right? But you're still working for somebody because you're running freight for somebody. See, this is why it's called a pyramid. No matter what, no matter who you are or what, if you ain't at the tippy top of the pyramid, you're working for somebody somehow, some way. LeBron James works for somebody. All the people, Floyd, Jay-Z, they all have jobs. So why am I saying all this? For one, I don't want you guys to be down because you have a job. That's number one. Because a lot of people love to tell you, hey, you got a job, you're not working for yourself. That's bullshit. Because everybody starts somewhere. And somebody like LeBron James, playing basketball is his job. He just has something else to do on the side as well. Understand that. And sometimes you have to work, right? And then eventually you work on your own or something. You're still working to build your dream. Don't let people tell you that you're not working for your dream because you have a job. I heard Floyd Mayweather's Roman noodles motherfucker who makes him Roman noodles at on call, like in the middle of the night if Floyd calls him to make Roman noodles. This motherfucker make like 100,000 or more or some shit. I think it was a crazy number. I'd do that shit. Fuck you mean? Then you got people who's I'm a boss. And nah, not even close. So don't get it misunderstood. You know, titles mean things, but they don't at the same time. Some people just want the title. They don't want the results, the success, and all that shit. I argue with people all the time. Oh, you don't work for yourself. You work for somebody. I can't tell. Because at the end of the day, it's a business transaction. It just so happens that you have to put your time into this business transaction. It's no different than if somebody went and sold some chicken to somebody or whatever else. It's the same fucking thing. You still working for the customers. So even if I was a boss and so even if I went and got this IHOP right here, I'm still working for the customers. Even if I become a boss one day, speaking of existence, I still work for my customers. My customers are the bloodline. I'm nothing without them. So I could pound on my chest all day long, boss, boss, boss. But I work for the customers. Regardless, no way around it. You're an owner operator. You're still working for somebody. You're still working for the people who are providing the freight. The freight ain't just popping out of thin air and voila, you got freight. No, that's not how that shit works. You know what I mean? You cut grass, you working for the customers. So what I'm trying to say is stop nitpicking or letting people deceive y'all in this little boss and working for this and that bullshit, man. Do what works for you. As long as you got some type of set goal, that's all I could say. Like, what about doctors? $1 million doctors. What? They not a boss, right? But them motherfuckers living lavish and saving people's lives. Who cares? This is what I mean, man. Do what you love. Do what makes you happy. That title shit don't really mean nothing. A lot of people have fell for that. Just like it's no different than like a relationship. You could say you're married, or if you're a dad, I could have a kid by a woman all day long. That don't make me a dad though. You know what I mean? It don't define you. So your job don't define you, whether you claim you a boss or a worker. That's not what's going to define you. Who would have thought who would have thought that dishwasher would turn into Oprah? See that? Everybody starts somewhere. So wherever you at in life, whether you a so-called boss or you just what people call worker, make sure you're doing this shit for you. You know what I mean? And understand that there's steps and there's levels to everything. But don't let nobody look down on you because they don't want to go to work or something. That's another thing. Some people just don't want to work. So this is their excuse. I don't want to work for somebody. So I'll just sit around and be broke. Or I'll act like I'm going to become a rapper one day. When really what they should be doing is, it's fine. You want to be a rapper one day? That's fine. I ain't knocking your dream. But you should be working on the side. See? Just like LeBron James and all them other people, the smart athletes, they still work, but they got their own shit going on too. You know, they don't be like, oh, well, man, I'm a boss. I'm LeBron James now. I'm done. No more working and no more playing basketball. They ain't retired yet, right? LeBron James and them have not retired, so they're still working. That's what I'm telling y'all. They still have a fucking job. Jay-Z still has a fucking job. Everybody, you not at that top of that pyramid, the people that own every fucking thing, you working for somebody. I don't give a fuck how much of a boss you try to put that title on. You still working for somebody somehow, some way. There's some owner-operators right now. Here's a good example too, because I thought about being an owner-operator. Yes, they are a boss, right? And they have responsibilities. They got to buy fuel and all that. But if you really weigh out what I make after their expenses, it's the same thing. So you tell me. Not saying that it's bad what they're doing. It's not. It's not. It's not at all. It's a great thing. But the titles are misleading. We both basically equal. We both doing the same thing. Now, if you're an owner-operator with different trucks and shit, no comparison. But if you got your own truck, right, and you got a worker, a person that works for a company that pays very well, and you got only one truck, you pretty much the same. You could say boss, you know, but it's the same thing almost. Yeah, you could do your own hours and this and that. That's fine, right? But even if you are a worker, you still are working for yourself. Don't let people deceive y'all and make y'all believe like you just there as some fucking slave and you're not working for yourself. That's bullshit. I've built so much in my life, you know what I mean, from working at a company. So I don't see how I have not been doing this for myself. And eventually, there's levels. I'll figure out another way. All this stuff, one day, I will not let it go in vain, and God will show me what to do with it next. There's levels. But until then, I'm still working for myself. It's just an agreement. My job have an agreement with me. You go do this for this much, and we give you this. It's still working for myself. They're just paying me to do something. Same thing if I was to sell chicken or cut grass or something. Somebody is paying me to do something. So you can say boss all you want, but you still cutting that fucking grass for somebody for that money. What is the difference, y'all? Before I go in this gym, please explain this shit. Because I love when people don't think. Like, everybody get caught up in what rap music or some perceptions say. Explain to me the difference, y'all. If you're a doctor, right? What's the difference between $1 million doctor going to work for somebody, right, that doesn't call himself a boss. He's a doctor, right, saving lives, doing what he want to do, helping people not die and all this shit. And then you got somebody who, let's say, is a lawn care service motherfucker, right? He still got to serve. He's still service. He's still working for somebody. He's working for the customers. One saying he's not a boss. He's a doctor. And then the lawn service guys claim he's a boss and then blah, blah, which is fine. But really, I mean, who's really, if you was to go by boss and worker, shouldn't that doctor, shouldn't the lawn service guy be killing the doctor? You know, living a way better life? It's possible, but let's be real about it. See that? That's why I tell y'all, man, don't get caught up in that shit, man. Don't get caught up in that bullshit. Even you know, like somebody like Floyd Mayweather. I work for myself. I promote myself, right? Yeah, okay. Well, what about them contracts with Showtime and shit? See, you still working for somebody. Yeah, Floyd is his own boss versus some boxers who work for Floyd, right? It's a pyramid, y'all. So somebody works for Floyd. He got boxers that work for him, right? And then Floyd could say, I don't work for nobody. But in reality, you do, because you're under a contract with Showtime. You just cutting out certain people is what it is. You cut out certain men. Like, you know how they say middlemen and all this shit? That's all it basically is. And I'm not knocking anybody that wants to do their own thing and all this. I just don't want people who, you know, got jobs or whatever. I don't want you to feel like you're working for somebody. You're doing it for you. You have an agreement. I'm here to do this and you're going to give me this. That's the agreement. So like, say somebody want to be a nurse or something. You're still working for the hospital, but you're working for yourself as well. You know, people want you to believe if you become a nurse or something, you're some slave working for somebody because you don't own the fucking hospital. You know what I mean? I'm just saying this because I don't want people to lose hope. I don't want people to feel like they're not good enough and all this bullshit. Because a lot of times it be fronts, man. Like people saying they boss and this and this. To me, I feel like I wouldn't call myself a boss unless I had workers. You know what I mean? Like people working for me. You know, I could work for myself. I guess it's still a boss, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say, I guess. But either way, if I ever become a boss, I work for my customers. Flat out, because I want my customers to be happy. So if I ever get a restaurant or something like that, like buy into a restaurant name like IHOP or something like that, I work for my customers, not me. Well, yes, me too. But them first, because without them, I wouldn't have the fucking store. So I'm still working for somebody. It don't matter how much of a fucking I want to pound on my chest and say I'm boss. It don't matter, y'all. That's all I'm saying, man. We always going to be under somebody. No way around it. Even if you could even look at it as you working for your kids. If you got kids. Or maybe you got a husband or wife, your family. You still working for people. Still working for somebody, man. It ain't just your dream. Not in my opinion. But I get it. Why people say building somebody else's dream. I get it. But at the same time, that shit needs to be really analyzed. And people don't need to get too caught up in it. Just do what's working for you, man. And find ways to succeed. That's all I could tell y'all, man. All that title shit, who cares? You know, I'm a father because I busted a nut in a woman. But guess what? There's more to being a father. Fuck a title. Oh, I'm a husband because I put a ring on somebody. There's more to it. That don't make me really a husband. That don't make me a father because I busted a nut in a woman. That don't make me no fucking father, dog. Technically, yeah, but it doesn't. You know what I'm saying? But that's what people do, man. They get caught up in these titles, man. And you know what I mean? I don't agree with it. Because you can have a worker that is more of a mindset. Basically, let's say this, and I'm done. You can have somebody that's workers and have the whole mindset of a so-called leader and a boss and all that. Have the potential, the character, the decision-making and all that, but they work for somebody, right? Then you can have people who are so-called in charge and bosses and all that, and they don't move like bosses, don't think like bosses, none of that. Right? Maybe they just inherited it or something. You know what I mean? Who would have thought that dishwasher would turn into Oprah? This is what I'm telling y'all, man. Titles don't define you. Because that same motherfucker that is working at Popeyes right now, right? You never know what they're going to grow up to be. Because it's all about who they are and what they got inside them and all that shit. You can't put a title don't define that. You know? Or you could be on the top and fall. Because you got that big head, oh, I'm boss now. It ain't never over, dog. This is a marathon, not a race. It's never over. Ever. Ever. Until you dead. This shit ain't over, y'all. So all this bullshit about I'm winning and all that, nah, it's never over. It's never over. That's why I tell people all the time, man, about, you know, a woman. A woman ain't gotta be fucking rich and all this shit. Just the fact that a woman goes to work or something like that, that's enough for me. You don't know what that woman gonna end up being. You know what I mean? You gotta see the potential of that woman. Who would have thought that dishwasher would turn into Oprah? Oh, she's a dishwasher, man. Fuck it. She ain't good enough. And then you can have a woman that's a lawyer. They could easily, eventually, that one could fall off and the other one could blow way past that one. So that's all I'm telling y'all, man. And you have the ability to be anything you want, man. It's not about where you at right now. And then some people are winning. That don't mean you get this big head and think it's over. This is why I still go hard, man. This is why I still go as hard as I do. I could easily be like, you know what, I'm winning. I got this and this. Now let me be dumb. Nah, that's not how I got there. You see what I'm saying? That's not how other people got there. Right? You know, sports, you have somebody who got fucking cut or something. Michael Jordan got cut in high school. Then you got people riding the bench, and then this motherfucker end up on top later. And then the other ones that was winning end up falling off. Like, this is what I'm telling y'all, man. It's never over. You could have a girl or a guy who was nobody wanted in high school. Then later on, they be the finest shit you ever seen. So, whatever, man. Y'all get what I'm saying. Y'all get the point. I know y'all do. So I'm out, man. I'm not going to keep beating a dead horse, man. Either y'all get it or y'all don't. I got to go.